And now, a special message from our hosts.
If you like the content you're hearing, please share this podcast and subscribe to our channel, Social Justice Heroes for Hire. Maybe Jacob will edit this and put it at the front, because I feel like that's a good place for it too. Maybe we'll have it in both places.
We could.
Who knows?
That's
in
right.
a world where social justice needs heroes. Mongoose and what are we calling you now?
Oh, don't say it.
In a world plagued with misinformation, a world where the line between reality and fiction is blurred, two men rise up to make sense of the world around them. They stand together for truth and justice, and also to keep others from screaming into the void. Philip Greer and Jacob Gex are Social Justice Heroes for Hire.
Okay, so I have one. All right. And if you guys are still listening, bear with me. I'm trying to come up with a name for Jacob. So if you have one, leave it in the comments.
Yep.
But Jacob is the dam that holds back the lies that are being put forth in America. He's fact checking, he's double checking, he's rechecking, he's over checking. He even has a checkbook, which most people don't have. This guy, we need a nickname that includes the word beaver somewhere, right? Because he's built the dam. He's the Beaver Hoover Dam.
Nope.
He is he's the lie beaver.
Nope. That's not. Nope. I can't. I just keep saying nope because I can't say anything else. Like the brain ain't working with the mouth right now, and I'm just having to keep saying nope because I just can't come up with anything else to say other than nope.
What about? Yeah, I can't come up with anything that's going to let me keep my job. So.
Yes, that's yeah. You can call me the Dam, I guess. I can add that to some other nicknames I have.
Let's just get this started with something that I need to clear the air about. Jacob, that was a very fast countdown. Okay, took me by surprise.
That took you by surprise, did it?
And that's how we start this podcast episode with everything that's going on in life. Fast countdown.
Yeah, with a really fast countdown. We'll just do it that way.
And I think that as Susan Page last night said, what a great segue, you lying bag of, I don't know what expletive she used, but it's a great segue to what we're talking about. Another episode of Social Justice Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
This is Mongoose, and I'm here with...
Don't do it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm here with Beaver Bottom Jacobs.
Oh, well...
It's not the worst thing I've said tonight.
It's definitely not the worst thing you've said.
You know, it's hard because I read children's books every night before I go to bed, before I put my son to bed. So I have to think, what's the worst way I can muck up this children's book that's clean?
Yep.
And when they put beaver in there, it makes it really easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because beavers live in water and they're inherently dirty. That's why.
Yep. Yep.
No other reason.
I feel like we're getting a little derailed here, but that's okay.
I'm gonna say that's a perfect segue to our next topic, which is politics.
Yep, we're gonna talk about politics. I think there's a lot that has transpired since the last time that you and I were together, Philip.
You tell me about it, Jacob. What happened?
Well, since the last time that we were together, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away.
Yeah,
and that was a big kick in the face if I ever had one. I don't even see. I'm like all getting all flustered about it. I don't even know what to say to make it sound like I'm saying something cool. But
man, I think you can just be truthful about how it feels. 2020 is the worst year of our entire lives, and RBG was somebody that we were holding on to that we knew may not make it through. Yeah. And one of the most powerful things I read was that she believed so strongly in our nation that she worked till the day that she died. No retirement, no breaks, no nothing.
Yep.
To try and preserve it.
She tried. And I think, that's when I heard the news that she passed away, like I didn't even want to believe it. Like a buddy of mine texted me and said that she had died. And my reply was like, nope. That's not true. You're making that up. That can't be true. And then literally seconds later, I started getting the breaking news and the notifications on my phone, and my heart just sank. And my heart sank because I knew what that was going to mean for this country. I knew what it was how I knew how some of my friends were going to feel, and I hurt for them. I hurt for this country because it's not good. It is no good is going to come from any of this. I feel like.
Yeah. This is one of the worst feeling times that I can remember. I'm going to pause it because I need to turn off my fan. Please hold.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's one of the worst feeling times in my short lifespan. And, you know, I try and take away positive things from everything that happens. And it's super hard to find a positive here, especially with the rush to confirm another justice and the whole disregard for any sense of honor that I don't want to say just Republicans, because I feel like there's a lot of congressional people who do not have honor. However, in this moment, we have Mitch McConnell, who specifically has turned course on everything he said in 2016 about confirming a justice because it serves his purpose. And I hate it, man. I get that you want to get ahead and do everything that you want to do, but if you're just going to lie to everybody, you shouldn't be serving the country.
I mean, as a quick sidebar on Mitch McConnell, I mean, is he really serving the country? I mean, I think Mitch McConnell knows he's on the wrong side of history in all of this and everything that he's ever done. He doesn't care. Anything he's ever done has been to further himself or to further, his place in Kentucky, where he's from.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy does not care. He will use every rule and non-rule and break everything in the book to have his way. I mean, half the reason, everybody wants to say, oh, well, it's the Republicans and the Democrats that can't come to an agreement on things. And half the reason we don't have another coronavirus stimulus package right now is because he doesn't want to spend any money because he doesn't see any need to spend any kind of money. And he wants to toe the line of, oh, I'm being fiscally responsible. That's such bullshit. He hasn't been fiscally responsible a day in his life. He doesn't care about fiscal responsibility and blowing up the budget. He didn't care about that.
Yeah.
And then for him to turn around and say, oh, well, yeah, we're going to confirm the Supreme Court justice. Watch how quickly this is happening. I want everybody listening to this to pay attention to how quickly this is happening, because this proves that if they really wanted to help the country, the GOP could have passed legislation. They could have passed a coronavirus stimulus package that was actually worth something in record time.
Yes.
And to me, that's what gets my blood boiling. That's what makes me so angry, is that they're simply doing this because the GOP wants to cement their legacy in the court, and they want that conservative court for years to come.
Agreed, man. Agreed. And they're fine with their legacy, but it means more than the American people and American lives, which is super sad.
Yep. It's extremely sad. And I think it's just completely disrespectful to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's memory, and everything that she fought for. I mean, I could almost get behind it if maybe somebody was nominated that would still try to, maybe they're conservative and maybe they still try to carry on her legacy. But Amy Coney Barrett, she's not going to carry on RBG's legacy. No. I mean, I don't know how much you've looked up about her or seen about her.
I read.
I know you do read. I know, man, top to bottom, left to right. I just don't know what you're reading. But she's a real mixed bag, man.
You don't know what you're going to get out of her. You don't know what she actually stands for. You know that her religious history and her faith is in strong, how do I say it, contradiction to the majority of beliefs in our country.
Yep.
Just because of the extremism that has been allegedly reported on. I haven't been at any of the rallies, if you want to call them that, or gatherings of her faith, so I can't speak to it as an expert, but from what I've read in the media, which I do trust several sources of the media. So,
Yep.
Just fair warning if you're listening to this podcast, I believe some of the news. It doesn't seem like somebody I would want to judge a case that I'm in. I can tell you that.
Nope. Not even a little bit.
It's super sad, and yeah, it's another one of those things that I feel like as the American people, and I talked to my brother about this, we have to accept, because somehow the people that have made it into our leadership, though they don't stand for anything that I represent specifically.
Nope.
They're the people that are making the decisions, and it is unbelievable that it's gotten to this point. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I think about that a lot.
I will say RBG life that I would have my son model his thought processes and actions after, and that's what I think we look for, or I look for in leaders, somebody who can be that role model and give a great example to people. And she was that. She still is that for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And so, I just appreciate the sacrifice that she made to try and do everything right for the country that seemingly wasn't really giving her anything back or appreciating it.
Nope. And, I think as a final point from me, it's sad because, we lost an icon,
Yeah.
We lost RBG, we lost John Lewis.
Yeah, man.
Those two right there are huge. They're big.
Yeah.
We've got to, our generation and younger generations, we got to step up and we got to start trying to carry on their legacy and continue the work that they started.
Mm-hmm. 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 And on that note, some things that I'm doing, I have voted early. I registered to be an assistant during the poll working this year. So hopefully that comes to fruition. I am,
nice.
Putting out, sharing my part of what we can do to register to vote on social media, donated to the candidate of my choosing, which I will not divulge because that is my business. But also, I did vote for all of my candidates already, and surprise, they're all from the same party. And no, they're not Joe Jorgensen. So I'll let you guys fill in the blanks, but it's super important. And I think that voting is beyond a shadow of a doubt the most overlooked, powerful thing that we could possibly do.
Yep.
And while it is still, what's the word? Inscrutable. There's some word here with scruples in it that I want to use, but I can't put my hand on it. It's infallible at the moment to our knowledge that voting is still honorable and something that we can count on. So we gotta keep doing it while it's still good, because it's gonna get bad if we continue at the rate and the pace with the leadership that we have.
That is an understatement. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this could be the last honorable election. That's all I'm saying. This could be it.
Yeah. You're very true. Very true.
So please, please, please vote. RBG.
Absolutely.
She stood as an honorable human being, whether you agree with what she talked about or not. I can't find fault in her. And, I wish we had more people like that in our government.
I agree.
And then I think that really takes us into our next topic, which is honorable people in government. Christopher Wallace met with two of them recently. Yeah. In what I can only describe as the biggest failure in a debate. And that's somebody who took political science in college and did a whole bunch of debates that I was not good at, that I was ill-prepared for, that still were better than that happy horse shit that we saw in the presidential debate.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I don't even know where to start.
God, I can't even get the words together.
Can't get the words together, bro. These are grown adults who are on the biggest stage that are just shit in the bed. Just left, right, and center. Poop, poop, poop. And, at a certain point, we talk a lot on this podcast that's now 3 episodes, so a whole ton, about the emotional weight of what we're witnessing. These debates, man, they drag me down, because not only are they very tough to watch and listen to, because of some of the stuff that's spewed during them.
Yep.
But also, the stuff that's happening in our country, I'm just reminded of it as I watch it. I miss the days where our country was like, yeah, you should pay attention, but if you don't, it's not going to burn down. And that no longer feels that way.
No, it's not going to burn down at all. Not at all.
Yeah, like I feel like it could burn down at any point. Tomorrow it could burn down. It might be burning. I mean, part of it is burning right now. But
yeah, like a third of the country's on fire right now. Yeah.
Oh my God! And that whole question: do you believe in global warming? Do you believe in global warming? Do you read top down, left to right? You say you don't know what I read. I don't know what these people are reading because it's everywhere, all over the joint.
Yeah. I mean, what can we say about the presidential debate? I think that hasn't already been said, or we haven't read somewhere. I mean, it was just awful, and there was like maybe like a 10-minute reprieve in the very beginning. You're like, okay, like it's gonna go a little off the rails a little bit, but it might be good. And then Trump was like, nope, here we go, and everything just went off the rails after that point. Like, and the other thing is, I had heard Trump's campaign said that he did not do any debate prep, and I heard that, and I was like, surely he has done something. Surely he is not going to go into this thing and just spout nonsense. And I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong. I mean, it was,
it was bad, man.
It was so bad, and I feel for Joe Biden, man, because I'm sitting there watching this debate, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I would have been able to have kept my cool the whole 90 minutes without jumping over that podium and like tackling him to the ground, and hitting him with a metal chair.
Yeah, I think that for me, I was sitting there watching thinking, I'd be great at debating Donald Trump because he's a bully and bullies hate to be outsmarted. And It doesn't take much to outsmart him. He can yell all he wants to, but then when he's done, you drop a line like, "Oh, are you good there, small hands?" And then when he's like, when he starts up again, you're like, "Oh, small hands is at it again. We'll let him finish." And then eventually he'll shut up. But the trick is you have to say something that is that hits home and stings to get the person off their feet, and then you continue on. And I understand that it's not theater, but I mean, that's how it is. When I was a special ed teacher and I'm working with kids who have emotional issues, I wasn't making fun of them by any means, but you have to find ways to disrupt the patterns of behavior they're in to try and redirect them in a positive direction. Same thing here, right? This is somebody who has an emotional, this is sensitive, an emotional, immature, a set of emotionally immature tendencies.
Yeah.
That you have to figure out how to work with to get on topic and save the country. I didn't ever think I would be stringing those things together, but that's where we are.
That is 2020. That's where we are right now in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Wallace, people say that he wasn't doing well, and we're going to get to the vice presidential debate in a minute. But Chris Wallace was out there, like, probably just embarrassed at what was coming out of this debate, knowing that his name's on it. And he is telling this guy, dude, you agreed to the stuff. Why aren't you following the directions?
Oh, yeah.
And Donald Trump has zero cares about anything he's agreed to. He has no word. He has no promises. He stands for nothing. He's like Aaron Burr 17.0 if you follow Hamilton soundtrack. If you stand for nothing, Burr, what do you fall for? Well, he stands for nothing. He also falls for everything. And then he claims it as something he did. It's like, it's the worst.
Oh, yeah. And then he came out after the debate and he's talking about how he won the debate and how Biden looked weak. And that was the thing that really got me the next day when I was reading the things in the media and I was reading people's comments on these posts and talking with some of my friends. And the one thing that they said that out of that debate, they're like, oh, Biden looked really weak and he needed to be stronger. And it's like, how can you get a word in edgewise when you're dealing with somebody like Donald Trump? He wouldn't shut up. I mean, to the point where Biden literally said, would you just shut up, man?
Yeah.
You could tell it was definitely getting to Biden a little bit. And I can't blame him. Like I said, I don't know that I mean, Biden's a better man than me right now because I don't know that I could have stayed on that stage with Trump as much as he was just harassing. And then after he went after Biden's sons, man, that was a low blow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and then when he's talking about his son who's passed away, who served the country, and then Donald Trump's just going to call his other son a cokehead, like, ugh. I'm like, bro, come on.
Exactly.
Even Hitler is like, Mein Kampf, low blow. Like, get it together, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a straight up low blow. But and the one thing that I wanted to point out that I noticed during that debate is if you recall, when he started in on Hunter and being about being addicted to cocaine and stuff like that, like Biden just looked directly at the camera and he was like, "I love my son." He's like he's like he made a mistake, we worked through it, and I love my son. And to me, I think that says a lot about who Biden is right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, because while I have never been in that situation myself where I have been addicted to a substance, I know that having that family member in your corner that loves you unconditionally, that was there to help you, that wants to help you through those things, at least from the people that I've spoken with about it, that means a lot. And so for Biden to be on a public stage like that and to just shake off Trump like that and look directly into the camera and say, "Hey, I'm proud of my son. I love my son." Like, that was a huge moment, I think.
Yeah, man. And as somebody who has a son, and you hope that these kind of afflictions don't happen, you're aware that they can, and you know that your love is really, that's really all you have to go on. So, definitely just huge appreciation for somebody who can show empathy and be a normal human being. And it's kind of sad to me that I can make my decision for who I vote for this year based on the fact that one is a human being and one of them is a monster. Like what does he stand for? I don't care. If Donald Trump was a Democrat and he was acting like Donald Trump, I wouldn't vote for him.
Absolutely.
There's no way. There's no way. He is a despicable human being.
Yep. That man has no redeeming qualities. He cares about nobody but himself, and he is basically just screwing up the country right now.
Yep. Big old tiny hands.
Big old tiny hands. That's right.
I swear I would have stood on the stage and been like, "Come on, tiny hands, tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Did she put up a fight?"
Oh,
none of them put up a fight because you paid them off. Oh, that's right.
That's right. Honestly, I thought Chris Wallace was about to jump over that table and go after Trump.
Not Mr. Trump. You agreed to these rules. Please follow them for the American people's sake. They want to hear what's going on. You're right, Chris. You're right.
You are absolutely correct.
I didn't think I could agree with somebody who broadcasts on Fox News, but it turns out I can.
And that's the thing. Like, this debate should have been this should have been a slam dunk for Trump, because out of all the media and all the news outlets, Fox News is by far the friendliest to Donald Trump, right?
Oh yeah.
And like, this should have been like a softball, like lob it a softball, hit it out of the park, and he just was up there and just, oh God. Like, I seriously, I think I watched about an hour of that debate before I basically just muted it in the background and went and had video chats with friends and talked about what I just watched.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I unfortunately was watching the whole family, and I had to stick it out to the end because I wanted to see, but it was like watching, it's like that scene in Austin Powers where the steamroller is going towards the guy and he has like an hour and a half to move out of the way and he doesn't. That's what it felt.
Yep. That's a pretty good analogy. I like that, because it was like standing in front of a steamroller that's just coming at you really slowly, and you're like, I can't get out of the way.
Yeah, it's like, why can't I wake up? Get up, move. Can't move. Just gonna let it happen, and eventually you're like, well, it's happening. Maybe it'll end me so I don't have to live through the rest of this year. Nope. Not only did it run you over, you're still here, and the rest of the year is still here as well. It's all here, buddy.
It's still here. But what about? I think we can't talk about the presidential debate without talking about the fact that Trump would not denounce white supremacy.
Wait, white supremacy is still a thing?
It sure is, Phil. It sure is.
Weird. That's weird. I'm a black guy, and all of my conservative friends on the internet tell me it's not a thing.
Oh,
So I've just
well,
been taking their word for it.
I think, Phil, if you would like to enlighten your conservative friends, do I have a document that you can share with your friends?
Please do.
It is. I don't know if it came out this week. The Department of Homeland Security actually just released their Homeland Threat Assessment Report.
I did see that from you.
Yes. In fact, I shared it twice this week because I felt it was super important to get that point across. But at the top of the list for domestic terrorist threats is white supremacy.
White supremacy. They've been rocking and roaring now for like the whole time America's been here. So it's not new.
Nope.
And it just keeps somehow getting a pass.
Yep.
It's a pass. Yeah, that's the thing that bothers me every time. Yeah, stop giving it a pass. And also, if you're a white person who is talking to a black person, before you tell them what their experience is like, ask them what their experience is like. Because I got news for you, bro.
That's new.
You probably don't know what it's like. And I can't tell you how many people have tried to get into fights with me or explain to me why white supremacy isn't a thing anymore and how much better America is than it used to be. Until it's equal, like true equal, it doesn't count. This is like when you were in algebra and you had to solve the equation and you almost got what x equaled, but you were off by just a point. Guess what? You were wrong. Okay?
Yep.
You're not getting any partial credit from me until I don't have to worry about my son leaving and being harassed by the police. So, like, there's a hard line here. There is no, Philip, it's better than it used to be, so why aren't you happy? No. It's until it's right, it's wrong. And that's just the way it is.
Yep.
Until it's all correct, like, you don't have a pot to piss in when you're talking to me. And I've got news for you, and I stand very strongly on this. You're wrong if you think you do. If you think, oh, well, Phil doesn't know what he's talking about, I can say what, you're wrong. If you're a white person in America and you're going to tell a black person that white supremacy or racism or systemic oppression does not exist, you're wrong. And I know you may think you're right, and that's terrible too, because you're still a bad person, but you're also very wrong. Very wrong. And if you want to know, ask me. I'll tell you about it. When we had the company that I worked for this summer, when all of the stuff happened with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and there was a lot of social uprising, they held calls. And there were some white people that wanted to know more about the people of color experience in this world, and they didn't understand how it could be that way, but they wanted to know. So they held calls, and we shared out our experiences. And I got to tell you, Jacob, listening to other black people at large having the same experience that I have when it comes to police, harassment, judgment, microaggressions, systemic oppression, all of that stuff. I mean, it's earth-shatteringly sad to know that this happens across the board. I felt worse after hearing somebody else corroborate the same type of story of what I had than I did before when I thought it just happened to me. Yeah, man. I try not to get on. I'm usually up on some kind of soapbox talking about something, but this hits close to home. This is like so serious. Like the time that I got pulled over with two of my Polish friends, and the cops said that we couldn't have known each other. I must have been their drug dealer, and they detained me for 45 minutes. Like,
wow.
I'm not a drug dealer. I was a special education teacher at the time. These are my actual friends. I know how to say their last names, right? Even though they got funky spellings for these cops whose brains couldn't understand, how to say their names. So they just assumed that we must have just been drug dealing or rigging America or whatever, right? They had made all these assumptions. I was doing nothing wrong, nothing illegal. I gave them my ID. I told them what I did. I told them the truth, right? And I had to keep my calm, though I was angry. And if you don't do that as a black person, you stand the chance. You run the risk of getting shot.
Yep.
And the hardest thing for me is when white people are like, "Oh, we'll just follow the directions," or not white people, not all white people, because I got to back up here. Obviously, there are white people who understand systemic oppression exists. There are white people who stand against that. There are white people who want to know how to do more. And those are the people that are great to have. Jacob, you're one of those people that I would definitely consider an ally, right? Those people definitely exist.
Yep.
But when white people tell me that if black people who have gotten shot or have been beaten or have been injured at the hands of the police, if they just knew how to treat an officer with respect, they'd still be here? You got to be kidding me. I've seen white people yell at the police and leave.
Yep.
Right? Like,
yep.
It's just not the same. It's just not the same. It's not the same.
Nope.
So if you're white and you have the feelings that maybe, or you have the feelings that black people are exaggerating it, or if they just did something that you recommend that it would be better, one, ask a black person and listen.
Yep.
Okay? Two, shut your mouth and listen again. And then three, shut your mouth forever because you're wrong. And then maybe four, you could call me and we could talk about it. But I get really frustrated when people try to tell me what's going on in my shoes and they can't put them on. You can't wear them.
Right.
So anyway, that was not on my list of topics, but Jacob seems to know how to get me riled up.
Get y'all riled up over there?
You got the mongoose loose, baby.
The mongoose is loose. Got to put the mongoose back. Get the mongoose back in his cage.
You're damn right. Now I'm heated.
Oh, well. So, I appreciate you sharing your experiences, man. I mean, I know that can't be easy.
Yeah, man, it's definitely hard. And I've heard from several people of color who are like, look, it's not my responsibility to educate the white man who has been oppressive or systemically racist or puts me at risk every day. It's not my job to educate them. I'm glad that they want to learn more. They should go out and do some research and reading and learn more. Right. And it's like, yeah, no, that's a very strong, real sentiment. I mean, I have siblings who feel that way. And they're not wrong, because it's not our responsibility to educate you on what your ancestors and possibly you are doing wrong with regards to treating people. But I also feel like I want to help people understand. And that's why I always throw out there, if you have a question, message me. I won't judge you based on what your question is, right? I will help you learn about the experiences that I've had. As long as you don't try and tell me what I'm experiencing, we are all good, right? Like, I will answer anything, no judgment, not going to call you out, none of that. Like, let's learn, because learning is key. But like I mentioned, keep in mind, if you are not standing in that person's shoes, you should not tell them how to feel.
Agreed. Absolutely. 100%.
Anyway, tonight I also made Chicago-style pizza, so just to lighten the mood a little bit, throw that out there.
Was it tasty? Was it good?
Oh, dude, my cooking game since quarantine, COVID, whatever you want to call it, the Trump catches it virus, since this all began, my cooking game has improved, I'd say 125%.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. Like, you can throw pretty much anything at me now, and I'm like, yeah, crush it. Let's go. This was the first time I've made a Chicago deep dish pizza, and I would say it's realistically 7.5 out of 10. I think if you were to eat it, you'd probably be like, this is at least an 8.5 out of 10, but I try and judge myself more harshly because everything counts, but yeah, it's phenomenal.
Everything counts.
So, yeah, but that also, I mentioned something in there. Oh, that disease.
Yep.
What are people calling it?
COVID-19.
No, there's another name. Oh, yeah, the White House virus. I'm going to fire the shot directly out there. I heard Michael Shea on Saturday Night Live talk about it, and he's like,
I watched that too.
It's not funny, but it is funny because it has all the makings of a joke.
Yep.
Right? You have people who are denouncing that something happened, then they suffer from it, even though they were lying about it, and they could have stopped it. Like, that is objectively funny. It's also sad because it's happened to people who were not fully informed, who could not stop it, who could not prevent it from happening. Okay? And we are, of course, talking about Donald Trump contracting COVID-19 with some of his, I guess you'd call them coworkers.
I don't know what the count is today, but as of last night, they announced, like, right before the debate, there's about 34 people in his administration that have tested positive for coronavirus.
That's absolute insanity, man. Like, Americans, you probably listening to this call have done some sort of taking this seriously, right? You've done social distancing. You haven't hugged a lot of people. You haven't interacted with people. You haven't gone on Tinder and just randomly dated somebody because guess what? They might have an STD and COVID. So now you got doubly things to worry about.
Double whammy.
And this guy is out here making fun of, was it 2 nights before he got diagnosed? Making fun of somebody for wearing a mask all the time like he's an idiot. And then he catches it. I mean, you are the elementary school bully that I roasted in elementary school time and time again because you always spoke before you knew all the facts.
Yep.
And it's like, you know that there are Democrats who are like, God, if I could just openly say all of my feelings about Donald Trump, I would crush him.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I mean, the stuff he did is just so dumb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So dumb.
Like
you
that
guys are sitting close to each other. You're in charge. And then you're going to... This is the best part, man. Okay. The Affordable Care Act, also known to some people as Obamacare. Some people don't even know that they're the same thing. That's fine, because you're funny to talk to and listen to because you know absolutely nothing. Now, Obamacare, which has the coverages for pre-existing conditions, which I was a benefit of when I didn't have a job and I needed insurance, and this has just come out, so I can speak to it because I have pre-existing conditions. Very beneficial to me.
Yeah.
Some of my medications cost upwards of $1,700 a month. So without these coverages, there's no way I would have been able to, 1, take the medication, 2, be able to control the conditions that I have, and 3, stay alive. So it's very real. There is active legislation that is looking to reevaluate Obamacare and its laws. And there isn't a full, thorough, thought-through plan to fix what issues this would cause.
Nope.
And because of that, we're risking putting people who have pre-existing conditions in deeper turmoil. Now, there's a lot of people who say this is using taxpayer dollars to pay for people that they shouldn't have to pay for because they didn't get them sick. Okay, great. And if that's your argument, I would like to highlight that you did not get Donald Trump sick, but you can be damn sure that your tax dollars were paying for him to get experimental treatments that are not available to you if you get the exact same virus, so that he could get well and get back to the White House in record number of time and infect some more people. And I think I read today that somebody is like seriously ill in his staff from this COVID exposure.
That's what I read too.
So it's like, you did all this and spent my money, right? And I don't like you, Donald. I don't. You stand for nothing that I stand for. But Absolutely. You are an American, you are a citizen, and you are the president. So I find a way to make sure that I stand behind my country, right? I don't like you. I'm still paying for your health care. You are going to take that ability for me to pay for my fellow American citizens' health care away from me, even though you just benefited from it. You're just like not a good person. You just do whatever you want and you're unchecked. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It floors me. I was actually having this conversation the other day with some other friends of mine, and there's some individuals out there they still don't believe in the coronavirus, and they're like, oh well, Trump, he recovered from it quickly, and it's like, yeah, but Trump got the best of the best care you can get in America right now.
Yeah, when was the last time you called the CEO of a pharmaceutical company and said, give me your best experimental drugs? Spoiler alert, you never have.
Nope. And it floors me the number of people that are still out there that still believe Donald Trump or are still even undecided as to who they're going to vote for. Like, how can you look at everything that has transpired? And keep in mind, it's Thursday, so we're roughly speaking a week and a half out from the presidential debate, okay? In that time, we had the disastrous debate. Trump contracted COVID-19. He went to the hospital, and they lied about his symptoms. He then is subsequently released this past Monday evening to go back to the White House. And ever since then, he has lost his damn mind. I don't know if you keep an eye on his Twitter. I don't know if you've been reading the news, but he has been tweeting non-stop nonsense. And this is more than just his usual nonsense. I mean, he has gone on Twitter tirades about Democrats, about Obamagate, whatever the hell that is, and about other conspiracy theories, and about Hillary Clinton. And it's just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And he went on a tirade this morning about Kamala, and he called her a monster. And he's just saying all these nasty, awful things. Like this dude is not. He already was like at the point where he was not all there, but now that he's having to deal with his COVID diagnosis and he's on like these experimental drugs, he's gone to like a level that I truly, truly did not think could happen.
Yeah, I think there's a part of the time that you believe that this person is just acting, like you hoped that Donald Trump wasn't who he appeared to be.
Yeah.
You really wish that for the country and for the world,
Absolutely.
I definitely hope that it was a farce. And now you realize, no, this guy he's bad shit nuts. And he's in charge of the country. He's got the nuclear
He's got the nuclear football, yeah. Yes.
And you're like, every day, I'm like, let's make it through today so we can get to the election. Because I think if we can get there, America will have been like, you know what? We did this one thing with this one guy because we were like, yeah, you seem cool and you're going to change some stuff. And that'll be good. You're going to drain a swamp. And that'll be cool. But it turns out you're actually the pit of hell. And it was a mistake. That's like, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. I have never in my life, and I have had Facebook for over half my life. Oh, pardon me. This is real life here. We got a warning that the child's camera has gone offline. So, we got to address that. Please hold as I address my son's care. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So, what was I saying? What was I saying, Jacob?
You're speaking your truth, Phil.
There's so much. There's so much that I just cannot stand or believe.
I mean, truth be told, we could sit here all day and talk about all the craziness that is Trump. But I think anybody that's going to listen to this podcast already knows how crazy this guy is and how messed up he really is. And here's the thing, like, I don't know if you know this, Phil, but I have been accused of being a liberal snowflake.
Tell me more.
I have been called, believe it or not, I have been called a libtard cuck more than once. Yeah. More than once.
Wow.
Yeah. I have lost friends over my political statements. And here's the thing, man. Like I have been motivated in the last few years to really start taking a stand and to really speak out against things. But I have tried to, like I said, I try to speak the truth. Like I'm not lying. Like everything I tell you about Trump, I have read and I have verified, whether that is through some form of media that I follow or that I believe in, or, I go to the president's Twitter account and I can see all 300 tweets that he's done in 30 minutes. I mean, the stuff that we talk about on here, like it's all true. It's all true. All of it. And like, cause I'm me personally, like I'm real big into fact checking, right? So I hear something and I'm getting on Google and I'm Googling it and I'm reading about it. I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to, trying to make sense of it and things like that. So I truly try to share the best and truthful information that I can. And there's nothing out there that, just when I think that there's nothing out there that Trump can do that'll surprise me, he goes and he raises that bar.
Every time, bro.
Every time. Every
I mean, you told white supremacists to stand back and stand by. You can claim, and your supporters can claim, that it was a misquote or he didn't understand the question. He got asked multiple times to decry white supremacy. I mean, if the police ask me if I've smoked weed today, the answer is going to be no. It does not matter. It does not matter anything else. You know exactly how to answer this question. The answer is no, officer. I have not. Okay? Because there are consequences if you do not answer that question properly.
Correct.
In In addition, you lie all the time, bro. Why not just lie to make me feel a little bit better? Don't make me feel like there's a white supremacist in the White House. Because spoiler alert, that ain't good. That's
Nope.
not good.
Nope. And it's such a slam dunk question, right?
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
Like if I'm running for office and they're like, "Hey, David Duke, you like the guy?" No, absolutely
No,
not.
absolutely not.
Nope. David Duke, let's go find that guy. He's a white supremacist. Let's get him off the street. Let's put him somewhere else. Let's put him in jail.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sure he's
what are
done
you trying
something.
to do? Make these people your friends? They don't need friends, bro. Everybody that's going to be friends with them is already friends with them. They don't need you to be friends with them, too.
No. It boggles my mind that there are still people out there after Trump would not denounce white supremacy that still follow him, and they're like, "Well, I denounce white supremacy." How the cognitive dissonance with his base, with his followers, with the people that I've talked to must be unreal. Like, I don't know how. I've never in my life experienced that level of cognitive dissonance because I could not follow someone and believe in someone as our leader who does not denounce white supremacy if I myself denounce white supremacy.
Look, man, here's another analogy, and I don't know if this will hit. It might be edited out. Who knows? Okay. But if you go out to a bar and you meet a random hookup and you contract herpes, then when you go out again and you meet somebody else and they say, "Do you have herpes?" You don't get to say, "I don't believe in that. I'm not really sure, so don't worry about it." Okay? If you know you have herpes, you know you have herpes. Okay? You're a white supremacist. You know you're a white supremacist.
Absolutely.
We all can tell when you try not to tell us that you have it. Okay? And if I'm on the other side and I say, "Do you have herpes?" and you stammer and you stutter, guess what? I'm not dropping my pants because you have herpes. This is what just happened. Okay? And people want to be like, "He stuttered. He wasn't sure." You knew you had herpes, bro. Ain't nobody is surprised by that. The only reason you want to back him is because you don't want him to be a white supremacist, which should tell you everything you need to know. I can't hammer it home hard enough. I am a black man who is a human being, and I deserve to be treated right. And that means that white supremacists who believe that they are above all people of color should not exist and should not be backed by good people. Donald Trump cannot, and has not on multiple occasions, correctly said he denounces white supremacy. You get your shot, you gotta say it. If you don't say it, you're a white supremacist. And like I mentioned before, there is no partial credit here. Okay? This is the one time where that one drop rule that's been used to ruin black people's lives for so many years should apply. If you have one drop of white supremacy that you believe in, you're a white supremacist.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. 100%.
See, Jacob, that was the right answer. From any human being, that is the appropriate answer.
We fought 2 wars over this. Okay? We fought the Civil War over white supremacy and slavery. We fought World War II. We fought Nazis. Why is being a Nazi cool again? Like, it was never, like, cool, in my opinion, but like, why is it back?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I do not know.
It makes no sense.
It does not. Now, we do have to talk about other topics.
We do.
And, we did have a wonderful, wonderful experience watching the vice presidential debate. That was such a great experience.
I agree. Yeah, no, I went into the debate last night. Admittedly, that bar was kind of low. I was like, man, after the presidential debate, like, there's no telling. I hoped, and I kind of knew that I think it was going to be a little bit better because Pence is a little more measured. He's still a little out there, but he's a little bit more measured, a little bit more controlled than Trump, because Mother won't let him get too far away. But and then you have Kamala, who, she's always been very well spoken, and she's just always like, you just believe everything she says, right? Like, because she just seems very honest and very open and very truthful.
Yeah, but the word regal comes to mind when I think about Kamala Harris and how she interacts, how she is able to be respectful, and even in the climate that she's in, loaded, and as we saw last night, not all white men are like this, but loaded, condescending white men exist all around her that are in places of power that are exerting that power. She still has to hold her own, be a representation of for women, Black people, Asian American people, and the American dream in this climate. I mean, bro, if this stuff is weighing on me like this, imagine what it's like to be her. I can only imagine, right? She's got more torches that she's got to carry. So I agree. Kamala, look, I was going to vote for you anyway, but after your performance last night and being able to honestly kind of put this person in their place with the way that they were treating you, even though you weren't getting any help, you had a lot of barriers that you had to be up against. You know, hats off. I'd clap if my microphone wasn't so sensitive. I actually sent out a picture of my mother standing when you looked like you were about to get out of your seat and beat I don't know if it was paste or maybe it was whatever undertakers use when they're putting a body together, whatever it was that Mike Pence had on. Yeah, seriously. The fly knew what was up.
That's the fly. Yeah, the fly knew. He knew.
Yeah, it's funny because we read a story called "A Fly Went By" all the time, and I sat there and I'm like, oh, if only Knox was awake to see this fly, he would be like, a fly went by, and it landed on horse shit. But yeah, I think that she did. I think she did fairly well. She stuck to her talking points. There were times where both candidates dodged questions.
Yes,
which I do not like. I do not enjoy.
By my count,
what?
I was going to say, go ahead. I was going to say, by my count, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But by my count, I think Pence, he dodged at least like 5 or 6 questions.
Yeah, and he lied a lot, which is another thing I didn't like.
Yes, he lied a lot. Yeah. I tried to fact check the debate last night. I really did. Like, I was sitting there watching it and I was like Googling things as they were saying it, like trying to understand. And I mean, almost everything that I Googled for Pence was either a half truth or just wrong. Like, it was just misinformation. And most of what Kamala said was pretty much spot on. There was a couple things that she was not 100% right on. Or maybe she embellished a couple things, but other than that, it was like she was truthful. She was honest. I mean, I think she was as honest and truthful as she could be. Like, I don't think it was never an intention to mislead or try to convince people otherwise. It was just, this is just what was coming to the top, coming to the mind at the top of her head.
Yeah, for sure. And I felt that way too. I thought it was interesting the stuff that Mike Pence said about the tax cuts and how we're going to have our taxes raised. I don't know if people know this, but we did get a tax break. It seemed like where we got a little bit more in our paychecks. But then if you weren't paying attention at the end of that year, I think it was 2018 and again in 2019, you ended up owing more to the government when you went to do your tax refund. So even though it felt like I think I made like $12 a paycheck extra, I ended up getting almost nothing back in my federal tax refund, and I didn't change any of my numbers from the year before. So the tax breaks that they talk about that are going to be removed, one, the tax code is super convoluted. No normal person can understand it. I know because I have a brother who studies the tax code, and when he talks to me, I'm like, "Ooh, he's back to being a robot," because he gets it, right? And he understands what's going on. And unless you are able to put yourself in that mindset, you're never going to understand the tax code. No. But he explained it to me. Yeah, it feels like you got more because you got a little bit more during the year. But then come tax time when you were counting on money, it's not coming to you. So, I feel like they're leaning on this tax break that they gave everybody, and they didn't do that. That's not what happened. So, that frustrated me. I will say the thing that I wish had not happened was I wish that she hadn't given in to him forcing her to answer a question the moderator did not put forth. And that brings me to the point of misogyny. I mean, come on, man. Like, you are the one person who's going to be able to pull in, 17, 18 female votes this year for your candidate, and you botched it. And that's interesting because I'm sure Mother doesn't let you talk to her like that. So what's the deal?
Oh, no.
I mean, what is the deal, bro? I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, he's definitely lost all the female vote. And there are women out there who are, except for maybe Amy Coney Barrett, who are like, this guy is ridiculous. I can't stand him. I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand what I was hearing from him.
No, I couldn't either.
It's unreal.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I was getting so annoyed because he just kept talking and he kept speaking over Kamala and he kept speaking over the moderator and he was just allowed to keep talking and talking and talking. And it was, I mean, especially that one point where the moderator asked him a question. I don't even remember what the question was. And he was like, oh, that's a great question, but I'm going to go back and talk about this other thing that I want to talk about now. And it was like, are you serious?
Again, bro?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah. Like, yeah. Anybody that thinks that Pence likes women is probably just needs to like reevaluate some things, you know?
Also, I'd like to take it to a little bit more superficial level because I feel like sometimes we get too intense. His suit was very ill-fitting. He looked terrible. I don't know what's going on. Does he need a blood transfusion? Do vampires get blood transfusions? I don't know. But
I don't
he
think
looked bad, bro.
When he came out on stage, I immediately I was like, oh, there's no way he doesn't have COVID. But then also you have to remember that Mike Pence might actually literally be a walking corpse. So
yes.
I mean, that fly stuck around for a whole 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that was the most still I've ever seen a fly.
Yes,
like you think about your house, a fly only stays that still if the fan is not on, they've landed on food that they're eating or crapping on, and there's nobody around. Like you can't even film a fly being that still. And this Joker is up here with a fly on his head, long enough for me to decide to get off the couch and go film it twice.
Yeah, and he did and I wondered if he even saw, felt it or even noticed it because he didn't move at all. Like any normal person, I feel like would have had this fly land on their head and they would have been like, "Oh, what is that?" You know. But he just sat there like nothing. Like it's like an everyday occurrence for him. Like, does this guy just sit around in his house?
No, Jacob. This is the thing. When you have feelings and you have senses, they tell you something's up, right? Your spider sense goes on and says, "Hey, there's a fly feeding on your corpse." I'm sorry, on you. His case, corpse, right?
Yes.
He doesn't have any feelings. Neither does his administration. So it didn't mean anything. He's just going through life, right? Fly went by and landed on your bullshit, bro.
I was laughing though when that happened because I was like, "Is that a fly?"
That's a fly.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm sitting there at my family, and I'm like, "I think there's a fly on his head." And they're like, "No, maybe, yes, that's a fly." and it's there, and it's like this is where I belong. So, yeah, I think that the fly was definitely the best part of any presidential debate of 2020.
Exactly. We should fly moderate the next debate.
Oh, for sure. Right. You come over there and just shit in your hair and be like, "That's what I do." I told you to shut up. Speaking
of fly, I don't know if you follow Joe Biden on various social media platforms.
Oh God, are you talking? Yeah, go ahead.
But immediately after the debate ended, because I follow Joe Biden on, I follow his Facebook page.
Interesting, since you're going to vote for Trump, but continue.
Yes, clearly. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's a secret. I'm part of the secret silent majority, whatever they call it. Whatever dumb BS that is. But anyway, which, by the way, that's nothing. That's stupid. If you believe in that, that's dumb. But they posted a picture of Joe Biden holding a fly swatter. And they said, donate $10 to help this campaign fly.
That was so money.
And then, but did you see what they did, what you can now go buy on Joe Biden's store on his campaign site?
No, what do they do?
Within 30 minutes of the end of this debate, you could have gone to joebiden.com, it's still there, for $10. You can buy an actual fly swatter that says, what does it say? Flies over lies or something like that. I mean,
are you serious?
I am totally serious, man.
I'm buying one because not only do I need one, but I need that one.
Oh yeah, I mean it's amazing, and it's gonna. I mean, $10, man, and that goes to Joe Biden's campaign, and it's like this. It's like one of your generic blue fly swatters, and it just has Joe Biden on it, and it has this little saying.
I mean, I'm on it right now. I'm headed. Truth over flies.
Yep, truth over flies. That's what it was.
Sold out.
Oh, sold out. Of course it is.
The silent majority is buying them up.
That's That's right.
Oh my God, amazing. I'm getting this fly swatter.
I'm sure it'll come back in stock. It has to.
I just want anybody who's listening to this to know if you get one of these fly swatters, I will pay you $12 for it. And I'll donate $10 to the campaign. I'm just throwing it out there. That's $22. This is also the first campaign I've ever donated to. I just like to throw that out there.
Yeah, me too.
Lies, lies, flies. Flies and lies, lies.
The National Bobblehead Museum has made a Mike Pence bobblehead. This is true. I swear to you, this is true. But they made a Mike Pence bobblehead that is this bobblehead sitting at a desk like he was last night. It has like a little plexiglass wall, and there's a fly on his head, and you can get a little fly swatter to go with it. You can order it right now.
Hold on, a Mike Pence bobblehead. Where does the money go to?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it benefits like the National Bobblehead Museum or if it benefits like Biden's campaign or some other thing. I have no idea. I just saw it in an article.
Immortalized bobblehead doll. I mean, this is amazing. Storebobbleheaddoll.com for sale. Fly on the head of Mike Pence. Pre-order. This is ridiculously amazing.
I mean, who would have ever thought? I mean, Mike Pence is probably sitting at his house, like, talking to his mother / wife / whatever. And I don't know, God. Just to be there and be in that moment and see that and see this thing just take off, it's just...
Yeah. I don't think I could rewatch it. I don't think if I was one of them, I don't think I could go back and watch that fly again.
Nope. And then when I was watching, it's funny because when I saw the fly land on its head, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Psycho.
Yes.
But do you remember the scene I believe it's towards the end of the movie where Norman Bates is sitting in the jail cell and you just hear the monologue of his mother talking in his head and the fly lands on him. He's like, I wouldn't even, she's like, I wouldn't even hurt a fly. And I was like thinking of that exact scene, but with Mike Pence.
Oh my God, man. Amazing.
And then, believe it or not, The Daily Show actually took that clip from the debate with the fly on his head and then put that audio to the clip from Psycho.
Wow.
It's amazing. The times we live in.
And this is it. This is social justice heroes for hire. We're trying to help people be aware of what's going on. Okay? We've got we have a depressing year here. We have presidential debates, or a presidential debate, because just this morning, Donald Trump says he's not participating in a virtual debate because he's going to go to another known super spreader event, aka his own rally, and hopefully spit on some people in his mind. Hopefully, not in my mind, but he's going to definitely talk. COVID is airborne. He's going to be speaking. His air that comes out of his body is hotter than most other air because it's horse shit.
It's Trump.
Yeah, and he's probably, somebody there is going to catch COVID, and if somebody dies, it's like, bro, it's not worth it. None of this is worth a human life, and that's the thing that we seem to really be missing. So,
maybe we should ask Herman Cain.
Yeah, exactly. Herman Cain, who knew that they didn't need to wear a mask and is now no longer alive. That is terrible.
Nope. No, yes, it's awful. It is awful.
And also, like Michael Shea said, it's like the people who are trying to catch COVID.
Well, Trump said that, right?
What?
Like, was it today? It was either today or yesterday when he was talking about his COVID diagnosis. He was saying that he had to catch it because it was like a heroic thing to do. I don't know if that was his exact words, but he was basically like saying that, he needed to catch it so that he could somehow empathize with the rest of the country, I guess. I don't know. It was really weird to read.
He's like an American terrorist because he's hurting Americans knowingly. His Secret Service agents who have to ride in the car with him in a hermetically sealed vehicle, the people who have to take his pictures as he takes off his mask and he's shedding virus at the White House. Like, you're hurting people, man. What do you not get about it? You're hurting people. Stop it.
Absolutely.
If you're 4 years old, I give you a pass and I help you understand. If you're 74 years old, you need to stop. There is no pass. There is no forgiving. You've been doing this now for almost 4 years. Longer than that, if you think about how you were questioning people's birthrights to be politicians. Like, you're just, God, I can't say enough how much bad stuff you've done and how unforgivable it all is. Yeah.
But on that note,
we like to end it on a really depressing note. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors, which would be whoever's listening to this podcast right now. So, anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Tune back in for episode number 4 of this podcast, Social Justice Heroes for Hire, presented to you by Goodyear, because they also don't like Donald Trump. They haven't actually sponsored us, but I just feel like they might. And yeah, Mongoose in the Dam.
Mongoose in the Dam.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it too, man. Good job, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. We finally got it. We finally found one.
We found one. And I'm going to go figure out how to be a white supremacist and film it.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm just curious about what the process is like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.